I am so excited for this episode of the Altcoin Hunt. We're going to be reviewing one of my favorite recent token launches. It has such deep lore, a crazy community, and an amazing backstory to it. Plus, it's super cute. We're going to be talking about Pudgy Penguins, the NFT turned crypto token. And without any more intro fluff, let's dive right into it. So we're going to start off with the narrative and vision because this is where most of the meat and potatoes is. Pudgy Penguins didn't just mint some cute JPEGs in 2021. They exploded into the NFT boom with New York Times coverage, CNBC segments about them, and memes spreading like an unstoppable blizzard. Excuse the winter-ish puns. There's going to be a lot of them through this video, so just get with it. Within months, they went from obscure art to crypto mascot in millions of Twitter avatars. Even today, they have, I think, almost 750K followers. So there is a huge community behind this thing. It's super cute. The honeymoon, though, froze over pretty fast. The Great Blizzard hit, as they like to call it. If you look at their lore, we'll take a look at it really quick. Yeah, here's the Great Blizzard. The floor prices tanked for the NFT. Rival NFT projects mocked them, and they became kind of a running joke. 6 months of being the butt of the joke would have killed most NFT projects. The community, however, mutinied. They pulled off one of the most successful community takeovers in crypto history and rebooted the brand into a global culture phenomenon. Today, Pudgy isn't just a niche NFT flex. It's toys in millions of homes, 50 billion plus social views, which is insane. And they have merch in Walmart. Now they have a multi-platform push into gaming, licensing, and of course, their Pengu token. They've built a brand that's part meme, part mascot, and part underdog story, which makes this really interesting because it's a rare combo that gives them crossover appeal way beyond just Web3 or another meme token. It's not pitched as just utility. It's sort of pitched as the symbol of survival and cultural dominance. It's one of the strongest NFT to token brand evolutions in crypto, in my opinion. There's proven mass market crossover with real life products, and the community-led redemption arc builds cult-like loyalty, for sure. The good vibes mantra, though, can only last and mask the lack of hard utility for this token. It still relies heavily on narrative momentum versus any kind of killer product use cases, but I still give them an ultra strong score, 16 out of 20 for narrative and vision. You can see some of their products here. And obviously, I think they're still in Walmart. I could be wrong about that. Someone double check me on that math. But we'll move on to the tokenomics and supply because it does kind of get interesting in the sense that, you know, they have a gag-worthy 88.88 billion supply, a market cap of 2.34 billion, which is insane for a meme token. There's big allocations to the community. You can kind of see their tokenomics here. The team gets about 17%. An airdrop let the fans in, but unlock supply does ratchet up the dump risk. They are transparent about it, though, which is a plus, but you have to be concerned about the huge future dilution. Unlock team and tokens are still very large, so you do have to be aware of that. For that reason, I gave the tokenomics and supply a 12 out of 20. And we can move on to the tech and execution. They built Abstract, which is a layer 2 to run their own Pudgy World avatar game, streaming badges, loot gates. They've expanded into toys with QR code utilities at Walmart, Walgreens, and Target. 2 million sold. They moved really fast, but is it tech or is that just kind of a gimmick? You can be the decider of that. I mean, there's real execution here, right? And L2, toys, gaming, but gamification doesn't really mask the lack of real financial utility for me. And the tech is not niche and it's not foundational for DeFi. But regardless, given the community behind it, it's still got a strong narrative. And for that reason, for tech and execution, I gave it a 14 out of 20. We can move on to market structure and liquidity. This is a token on Solana. You can see they have over 500,000 holders of Pengu. The price, we'll get into some of the technical analysis. I'm doing a new section. If there's enough data, I will be doing a little bit of technical analysis. We'll look at the charts. They hit 800 million volume on some days, like yesterday. It's actually kind of nuts. The market cap, again, is about 2.3 billion. It's really traded mostly across Binance, but they are on a lot of the big exchanges. Airdrop did hand the keys to the community, but again, large shares remain with insiders, so you have to be wary of that. There is active trading. The NFT floor price did slide a little bit, but I think there is still a lot of upside to this. It's prone to dump cycles for sure, right? This relies heavily on sort of cycle narrative and engagement with the actual community. So for that reason, you also have to be cognizant of, whales can move the price regardless of how big the market cap is because of how the allocations are set up. But there is deep liquidity. So I was kind of mixed on this, but this is a degen only sort of play in terms of having it in some kind of percentage of your bag. For market structure and liquidity, I'll give it a 16 out of 20. And we can move on to the second to last section now, which is exit risk and VC stakes. They raked in $20 million in funding across 4 rounds from VCs like 1K Founders Fund, Fenbushi, Kronos. Again, the airdrop did give the keys to the community, but large shares do remain with insiders. Future unlocks do still loom, and sell pressure has already sort of shown up. You can see the unlock schedule here. Regardless, though, for exit risk and VC stakes, there is VC pressure here. There is decent exit risk, and for that reason, I gave it a score of 8 out of 20, which gives us a final score of 71 out of 100, one of the higher scores recently. This is a conviction play. The Penguins, more than just cute. It's a story, a brand, a cult even, but also real products, global reach, and real liquidity. This is a high alpha meme coin with culture as the foundation. If you're buying the underdog arc and involvement, it's definitely worth a speculative look for the speculative degen portion of your portfolio. So with the final score in the bag, let's take a look at the actual chart and see if there's anything to glean from it TA-wise. And the first thing that pops out to me immediately is just this level. That top has been basically hit now, you could say 3 times and rejected each time. Once that potentially breaks, that could set up for an explosive move higher. And something I would look at or look for is something like this. So let's say this goes back down, makes a nice floor here, does push past this high. I would look for a retest and a hold for it to actually go higher. The good thing about this chart to me right away looking at it is that it is setting up higher lows. So you can see one there. You potentially have one here. If this is the quote unquote bottom, you had a higher high, higher high, higher low, and it's in an uptrend. So that's definitely positive. You would be remiss not to look at Bitcoin dominance to see if there truly is an alt season before kicking this one really into gear. But I think the chart looks good. Everything considered, it doesn't look like a standard rug. Obviously, it could play out very differently, but that's just my sort of back of the napkin analysis and math for the actual chart itself. Regardless, I hope that helped you at least a little bit. I definitely think this is an interesting project and one that I'm keeping on the watch list, if not for any real token utility, but just to allocate something to the degen bag that I have. That's about 5% of my total portfolio, right? Generally for these cycles, the big players have been Doge, Pepe, those types of meme coins. Pengu could become one of the top 5, 10 meme coins. It probably already is, if you ask me. So hope you enjoyed this video. That's another one in the bag. As always, I drop these 3 times a week. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you hanging out with me to the end. You already know what to do. I'm not going to ask you for it. As always, I hope you have a great day out there, and I'll see you next time.